to review headlines in today's newspapers with the Ombudsman of This Day and Arise Media Group and This Day Newspaper Limited's Group Executive Director, Kaude Komolafe. Good morning, KK.
Yeah, good morning, Steve.
And happy Easter to
you
KK.
too. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yes. Happy Easter.
Same to you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's utilize the time well so that we quickly dive into This Day on Sunday, where the lead says Northern aspirants move against zoning National Assembly leadership positions by APC. North Central may retain national chairmanship slot. Northwest, South-South, Southeast jostle for Senate presidency speakership. And on top of that, Buhari fumes as gunmen again kill over 40 in Benue IDP camp. Autumn appeals to president to match words with action. The strip on top of that sad story, Easter, Tinubu, Atiku, Gbajabiamila, Obi, others kick against agents of disunity. And on the window, in battle for Biden's congratulatory message, Alake differs with Chimamanda on outcome of 2023 elections. That's a story on page 5. But I think we should also quickly look at the picture on the cover of today's This Day. We love you always. The cover picture says, showing the British Deputy High Commissioner to Nigeria and the outgoing United Kingdom High Commissioner to Nigeria, Ms. Katrina Campbell Lang. Her daughter, Anya, with President Muhammadu Buhari and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Geoffrey Onyema, during a farewell audience at the State House in Abuja. She's leaving Nigeria, and there's a trending video, I don't know if you've seen it, KK, of her, you know, everything that she has done in Nigeria from the cultural, tourism, entertainment point of view, you know, her dancing at parties.
She was a
you know,
lively
everything,
figure,
you know, she was quite a lively figure, and I think that many people miss her, the outgoing High Commissioner to Nigeria from the UK. Those are the stories, KK.
That's right, Steve. I think this farewell, you know, to the fine diplomat, you know.
Yes.
It's particularly remarkable that she has had, she has had many good things, you know, to say about Nigeria, even when some Nigerians never find anything good to say about their country. So it's remarkable that,
That's right.
Yes, that you know, she's been good PR, you know. So it's farewell, and I will wish her the best in her next endeavor.
Yeah.
Now, the front page of This Day today, you know, some of the stories they are also in the other newspapers, you know. But the one that is perhaps most important is the security situation, you know, in parts of the country, you know, as the headline shows. In Benue, you know, at least in the last 48 hours, reportedly about 87 people, you know, have been killed in various acts of violence, you know, attacks. I think in case of Benue, in two different locations, one in the Goma local government, the other one in Otupo local government. In fact, particularly the one in Goma local government is particularly horrendous because you have, in this case, you have people in IDP camps, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so what I mean, you can imagine the degree of inhumanity, you know, that's somebody who is already displaced, you know, has been living in quite uncomfortable conditions, you know, for quite some time, again, still being vulnerable, you know, to attacks, you know, and being killed. It's appropriate, you know, the way the anger, you know, expressed, you know, from Aso Rock by President Buhari. But just like Governor Otom says, you know, it should go beyond lamentation and still take action. And in this matter, we should still remain optimistic that even with 50 days or so, you know, for President Buhari to exit power, you know, that a lot could still be done, you know, to ensure that the Nigerian state, you know, performs its basic constitutional responsibility. You know, that the obligation that the Nigerian state owes, you know, the citizens, which is that the purpose of government is the security and welfare of the people. And in fact, the Constitution puts security first, because you have to talk of security before you can attend to the welfare of the people. So, and it's also reassuring. I think some days ago, there was a statement from Aso Rock that the president was, still gave the ray of hope. Don't forget that before the end of his tenure, that he was going to improve, on the security situation. But like you are making the remarks earlier in the program, Steve, that when you get the reports of what has happened in Zamfara, Kaduna, and now in the last 48 hours, Kaduna, instead of hope, in many quarters, despair will come, So our hearts go to those who are bereaved in these places, right now, in many places today, people will be exchanging greetings of Happy Easter, but definitely it is not Happy Easter in Benue State. So our condolences, to those, the government and the people of Benue State, for
all right. This is the style. Okay, I think because the picture there, of course, Benjamin Okezie Kalu, and they say it's the voice of the reps. All right, that's the style. As usual, always as colorful as ever, and always filled with the latest style tips and the latest style trends. But try, in the bid to press it further, let's look at The Guardian. And on The Guardian on Sunday, as they actually titled it, of course, the headline that screams out there says, while fuel subsidy removal may be difficult. And of course, this is coming from the minister. And if you, on that page 2, as it says there, it says that some of the writers there say that petrol price projected to increase by 400%. Unemployment may hit 40%. The nation is on the edge as $800 million subsidy loan may push debt profile to $171.8 billion. Of course, they have to raise gas framework to reduce energy costs. And according to Emmanuel, Buhari's social intervention programs have failed.
Okay. Are there other stories there that KK can take together? So
that's just the major. That's the major story.
Okay, the major story. Just quickly, what is interesting about the conundrum of fuel subsidy is that virtually all the leading presidential candidates, seem to have unanimity, views, on it, and that is that, that the fuel subsidy must go. So, what is expected, whatever the government of President Buhari, does or fails to do, it's almost certain that the question of fuel subsidy, the removal of it, will be the baptism of fire for the incoming administration.
It will be.
It's an issue that has to be dealt with, at least for any government to take, to be able to take any step in the socio-economic realm. Yeah.
That's right. It's such a huge sum that obviously Nigeria cannot continue to sustain that.
But the question is, how do you ensure that you give the populace a soft landing? Because the impact and the fallout from the removal of subsidy would also be very, very grave.
There won't be easy
options. It's a slippery slope.
There won't be any easy options.
It's a slippery slope, I must say.
Let's see how the next government tackles it. Let's go quickly to Sunday Telegraph, where the lead story says, crisis brews in APC over ministerial list. Sparks gale of suspensions in Abia Delta. Party bars warring leaders from press interviews. Okay, crisis, when the government is not yet there and we don't know, who might be on the list of those that will form the cabinet with the president-elect. A few other stories. Treason allegation against Obi. Buhari made similar statements in 2011, 2015. That's Ohaneze Ndigbo telling the federal government. And urges international community to ignore federal government's claims. Why Obi is under pressure to go on exile. 10th Assembly intrigues power game over new speaker, which we have touched on there. And then Jonathan Tinubu, governors, others preach love, peace at Easter. And I think the story on page 20 of the paper is also interesting. Beavers expose decades of electoral fraud. That's according to Ojuigbo. That's Sunday Telegraph.
Yep. If we take the lead story of Sunday Telegraph, which, by the way, is in, I mean, it's on the front page, of virtually every other newspaper today. That is the what I mean. I mean, not a problem really.
Is it the ministerial or the assembly that is on the cover of all the other papers?
That is I think the issue is about zoning positions, whether in the legislative or in the executive, about appointments that will come. I think the operative word is really about zoning, and this is just a reminder of the fact that the question of zoning, because the argument has been made before that ultimately it is a matter for the party to decide, and that is what is manifesting in APC now. That if you as a tool of political engineering, that it is actually within the remit, of political parties, to be able to carry out zoning in such a way that will enhance national integration. In that regard, I think there is nothing that is strange in what is happening. Definitely people will jostle for power, and then it now depends on the capacity, the organizational capacity of the party to be able to, resolve things, depending on its avowed zoning formula.
All right. Okay. On the Sunday Vanguard, like you said, a recurring theme, of course, being echoed across several newspaper headlines. Of course, 10th Assembly looming showdown in Abuja over zoning. Two contenders have gone too far. Any attempt to zone them out won't work. But I'll rather focus on the just above the masthead, which says storm over Chimamanda's hollow democracy letter to Biden. One of the writers there says she betrayed ignorance of politics, according to Dele Alake. And Fani Kayode, we don't need her lessons.
That's similar to what this day has.
Yes,
on the window.
On the window of this day,
almost the same placement, addressing
and I think some
the
other
same
papers too, also they have
yeah. All right.
All right. Also, maybe finally, about,
No, that's a Saturday. All right, let's look at Sunday's Sun.
Okay.
Sad Easter in Benue, Bayelsa, Abuja, Ekiti, as herders kill 36 in IDP camp attack. Scores die in boat mishap, 3 in road accident. President Buhari condemns killing, calls for end to extreme violence in Benue, as police recover 28 corpses. 5 dead bodies recovered in Bayelsa. 3 die in Abuja auto accident. 7 injured. Man found hanging on mango tree in Ekiti. I mean, these are not, these are depressing kind of, but unfortunately on Easter Sunday, that's what is happening, which other papers too have captured. Sad Easter in a few states or the Federation, unfortunately. Labour Party crisis takes new twist. Deepens 36 states. FCT chairman berate Lamidi Apapa insists Abure remains chairman. Crisis sponsored by the opposition to target Obi Tanko. That's according to the party's spokesman. We can wrap up on this note. If there are a few words that you can say there, Akeke.
Yeah, just to say that, despite the bleak, atmosphere in some parts of the country, that is also good. It's also remarkable that, as usual, as it is customary in this season, that leaders are also giving, the public, messages of hope, from the president to the leading politicians, the president-elect, Vice President Atiku, on others, So I think the purpose of the season is the message of the season is about hope, and that I think at this juncture in Nigeria we need a good dose, of hope, so that despair would not set in.
All right.
Yeah.